Hey guys, this is Forsaken Reality here with the 44th episode of the RPG tutorial series. In this one, we're going to be setting up our shield blocking as well as looking into quickly setting up our interaction interface for our pickups, which we created for our dialogue system, but we'll also be using it for all other interaction. In the next coming couple episodes, I'll be working on the targeting system, and then I'll be moving into working on the AI, and I'll also set up the magic attack, and I'll look into the range attack as well. So without further ado, we will get into this one. I'm just going to move my test project out of the way here. And the first thing we're going to do is set up our interaction interface for our items. So we're going to go to our master pickup. And we should already have our interaction interface called here. And we're just going to delete that. And we're going to call our server pickup. And it's going to be a reference to self. And then we want to open up our character. And we'll go to our pickup. We can break this beyond here and delete that. We don't need that check anymore since we're doing it through the interface. And that should be it. Actually, we can delete this right here. There we go. So that's cleaned up now. And we should be able to pick up our items using that interface. Yep. You'll notice that when you sprint with the shield equipped, I forgot to set up the animation for sprinting. So we can quickly do that by going into here. And we just want to go to our default run. And you want to right click on your blend poses and get your melee shield pose. So this will be when you have a shield equipped. And we just plug that in like right like that for now. I'm just gonna use the same animation as the melee since I'm gonna make it so we can't. It doesn't have the block animation displaying when you have your shield equipped. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're going to want to go back into our master character. Input graph. And here we're going to go over to our melee input. I might, you already have this set up and you can leave it here. I'm going to show you how to set it up so that if it's a shield, if you have a shield equipped, instead of a heavy attack, it will do a block. But you can also set up another input. So for example, you can set up a block and I'm going to set that to left alt. So now we have our block event. And now we're going to check if our shield is equipped, which we can check that in our combat component. And the reason we're checking for shield equipped and not a reference is because there's still a reference when it's on your back. We want to determine if we have it in our hand. And if true, we want to go to our combat component, create a new variable. And I'll just say blocking. And Control C that, Control V. And we're going to set blocking. Just move this over a little bit. So the shield is equipped and we press our input, it sets the blocking variable. So that's just a quick comment there. I'll let you know that we're going to use this variable also for when we block our AI attacks. That we're going to use it to determine if we're blocking, and basically the attack won't hit the player from a specific direction. And also if you wanted to have blocking with swords as well, you could just remove the shield as equipped and run it through here, and it will check the blocking all the time. Just gonna copy this. And I don't need that there. Voice. So that when you release the button, it will disable the blocking, which will stop it from running. So this would be for an extra input. You can keep this here if you wanted that. So maybe you wanted to do heavy attacks with your shield. But I'm going to do, if you have a shield equipped instead of a heavy attack, it will block. So we can plug this in like so. And it will run the same way if you were to keep this blocking input here. And I may change up the blocking and show you other methods of using it as we set up our targeting and our attack system. So I'll show you methods so that you can only block when you're locked on to a character, when you're locked on or in combat, different things like that. So now, yes, we have our block variable being set in our character. Go to our animation blueprint, update graph, animation variables, and we'll scroll over to our shield. Just gonna make a little bit of room here. more combat component. We can get the blocking. Convert that to a variable. So put a B in front of that, so it's a boolean. So we know it's a boolean. When we look at it here, it just makes it a little easier. It doesn't actually display the B there. Might move that a little too far. So that's getting the boolean from the player. It's gonna make some room right here. Because I'm also going to set the animation per weapon so that you can have a different block animation depending on what shield you're wearing or what weapon if you decide not to check for the shield. So we need to go to our data, structures, and our animation details. Create a new variable called block animation. Search for a sequence. And we're just going to move this up above there by the melee attacks. Well, that's where I want to have it, so it makes more sense. So save all. Don't think I need this, but I haven't done it in a while. Just gonna make sure. It's always a good idea to do it all out. Make sure my blueprints are compiled. Okay. So now I have my animation set. Go back to my animation blueprint. I can click this right here and my block animation will appear. Drag out promote to a variable. And just like that, we have access to another animation, which is our block animation. And that's set per weapon. So we go to our data tables and our item list. And we can set a block animation. And I'm just going to use the sword block. Make sure I use the non-crouched one, sword and shield block idle 4. Right there. Save that. Okay, now we can go to our idle, our animation. Now we have everything being sent in there for our blocking and our block animation. Put this in the shield. And there's just a lot of variables that when I set them it up with the spacing there, I don't like the spacing because it's just not how it should be. And I like to put a B in front of my booleans. You get used to them, everything being squished together like this. And you need them using capital letters for the first letter. Okay, so now we have that done. We're going to head into our anim graph and our idle walk. And in here, we're going to do a few things. I'm going to show you a couple different methods for the shield stance. One will just blend out the arm for the shield, and one will also have other upper body animations. So we want to first move this back out of the way. I'm going to comment this. Check the player is moving, and I'm going to redo this so it's not, so it's a little cleaner. But first we're going to drag out true. So if we are moving, we're going to blend by bool, and right here we're going to check if we're blocking. And if we're not blocking, we'll just do the normal shield idle. And this is also if we're not moving, because it's checking if it's 0 and 0. So this is if we're idle. You're doing a shield idle. And if we are blocking, drag out layered blend per bone. And there's a couple ways you can do this one. I'm gonna miss rotation, blend 3. Use spine 01. And I'm just gonna copy this right here and paste it up here. Paste it again, but I'm gonna delete this. Plug that in there so I can get my shield block animation. So that's blending between my block and my shield idle, and the base pose is the shield idle, and that's for the legs, and this is my block animation for the upper body. So I'll blend the full upper body for the shield animation. And I'm just going to do a quick test with that. Oh, yeah, I have it set up with it. No, I didn't. Okay. Here's where I went wrong. So in your character, you want to break this link here. So we are blocking. We're not going to want to continue on for the rest of everything. So it's false, and we don't have a shield equipped when we do our heavy attack. Then I'll block. But if you already had this set up with, kept this set up with this input block, you don't need to make any of those changes. It should work when you set up, when you click your input. So now you'll see that it has the block animation, but the legs don't move, so because it keeps the lower body. And we have our rotation in there. We can actually make some, we're actually going to make some adjustments for looking around a little bit left and right, which will make it look a little better. But you notice the weapon goes back a bit, so if you don't like that, or if you didn't have any other animations, you might have some other animations that'll look different, so you can test those out. But if you don't like that, you can use this other setup that I'll use. And some reason it's not letting me do it. There we go. Control C, Control V. And this time we're going to blend the clavicle underscore L for the left. And that's the only difference here. So you can compile and save. Test that out. You can see only your arm will bend, and that looks I think that looks a little better. So I'm gonna leave this one, but this one's still here in case you want to use that for the upper body. Maybe you'll have some other animations that'll look better with this one. You can also mess around with it and play with some of your own. You can do multiple bones, so you can add a second bone. Maybe you want some other bones to be specifically affected or not affected. You play around with that. It could be definitely pretty useful. So left arm only, and that'll blend upper body. I'm sure you could end up coming up with a cleaner blend for the shield movement when it's moving up and down. If you wanted to blend in more bones, that will do for now. Once I look into the rotation, things might look a little better then. Okay, so we have that done. Just gonna leave that there for an extra. Got a layered blend per bone here. I'm just gonna get a blend by goal. So we are moving. We're gonna blend between, we're gonna check if we're blocking for our upper body. So this will blend, the base pose is our movement, which is our legs. This is our upper body, which is our everything above the waist, basically. And we will blend. So we aren't blocking, we will just do our normal shield idle. But if we are blocking, we can grab our left arm only or our this one right here. I'm actually going to do a quick test to see which one looks better. So you have this. And it blends properly. Control. I'll toggle your camera. Just going to test this out specifically for when we're moving. And you can do things like that, set up multiple animations. I kind of like how it does that when we're aiming. So it's true blend. I'm gonna just test out this. And just seeing what will make them look slightly better so they're not so snappy. And basically you can just adjust these to like 2 or 2.5, whichever you prefer for the blocking blends. Now allow it to just have a slightly, so it's not snapping so much. And I think I'll keep this like that. So now I have my blend upper body when we're moving. And when we're not moving, we'll just do the arm. Doing a little bit of organizing so things look nice and neat. Makes it easier to read when we come back here. There we go, that looks a little better. And that's for our shield stance done. And the multiple methods of using the block so far. And everything should work. If you were to keep this set up, everything should be working just fine over there. But I prefer this. And just testing out. We do our heavy attacks too, and nothing breaks there. Shield equips, and we can do our normal attacks. Put our weapons away, and we can't block. Take the weapon out. Shield is on our back. That's pretty early, and this video has gone on for quite a bit. That's a bug I'll look into for the beginning of the next video. I just added it to my list over here. So that's going to be everything in this episode. Found this video helpful. Want to see more? Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. And you won't miss out on any new video uploads. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave those in the comment section below or join my community Discord server using the link in the description. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the next episode.